Hello. So I recently achieved 500 subscribers on YouTube. Cheers. And I have been growing by about 100 subscribers a week, sort of with a slight exponential arch to the curve. And yeah, I think it's primarily because of one video, which is hacking reality, a chaos magic primer, which I feel a bit weird about because if you may have seen in a recent video of mine, I'm really trying to move against using, at least in my own work, but sort of, gentle encouragement to other people, not that my opinion on it matters to anyone. In my own work, not using AI to write any actual scripts or just do anything that's in any way creative or something that would be helpful for me to be doing and would improve my own life if I got better at doing it myself. I just realized if I start to use AI to make my thoughts coherent or even just express ideas that I have in concise and clear and good, communicative ways, then I will become less concise and clear and communicative and less able to sort of turn ideas into actual thoughts and things that people can hear. Anyway, this isn't meant to be a video about AI. That video was the last video I did that I used AI to help me with. So I came up with a structure for the video and I wrote it all up. And then I asked ChatGPT to help me with the script. And you can see that in the script or hear that in the video, I think. There's a few moments. Like ChatGPT uses a lot of M dashes and it does a lot of, it's not just X, it's Y. And I do that a couple of times in that video, I think, because it's a script it was made using ChatGPT. Anyway, it's a bit annoying that video is doing so well because it's got like 7,000 views or something and quite quickly counting. Let me have a look. It has 7,335 views as of today, which is August 19th. And I think a lot of my subscribers are coming through from there. And, it's the kind of video I wanted to make. I came up with the idea, all of the usual excuses for using an AI to help you create something, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I hope that people find themselves happy that they've stuck around, and I hope that the videos I make in the future have anywhere near a success as that one. But regardless, this video is supposed to be a happy welcome and sort of introduction into what Fool's Journey Books is. I made a video like this much closer to the beginning and I messed up the sound, so you didn't get an introduction then. So what is Fool's Journey Books? Well, Fool's Journey Books is a bookshop, primarily a bookshop, but it's also a place for me to sort of talk about these books that I've collected and got in stock, that I've always found interesting, which is books that are in the esoteric, occult, fantastical, mythological, folklore, sort of weird and wonderful sort of realm. I have worked as a bookseller before in bookshops, never in second-hand or vintage or rare books, just in new bookshops, mostly in an independent bookshop in Cornwall, but also in Waterstones a couple of times. I've got the usual story. I've always loved bookshops and loved the smell of bookshops and second-hand bookshops, and, the smell of foxing got under my skin at a young age, I would say. I'm from London. I lived it for a long time in Cornwall, and I now live in Scotland. So this year, from the very start, I have had a lot of sort of full-time childcare duties coming on. So I needed something that I could sort of switch up and sort of work on when I could find the time. And an online bookshop that I made sort of content for seemed like a good idea. However, it has proved a lot harder, and I've not been able to be as consistent as I would like, and as I imagined I would be able to be. But that has changed recently, and I will hopefully be able to be much more consistent, and I'll be able to devote nearly full-time hours to the bookshop and to creating content. the idea came from my own love of these books and sort of boring the ears off of people that I know and love who don't really share the same level of interest in these topics as me. I thought, find your people online in this day and age. Yeah, other than just my own love of books, a big inspiration for starting the channels and especially the content was Tom Ailing, who I just saw go from sort of strength to strength over the course of the last year and a half, I think. Just has gone from absolute strength to strength and is very, very well deserved. So some of the main questions that I get primarily from confused family members when I explain what's going on is, I would say number one is where do you get your books from? And number two is sort of why are you into this sort of stuff? And probably, to be fair to my friends and family, less often, but also, how long are you going to give it until you decide that it's not worked and try and do something else with your time? So for this first sort of wave of acquisition, which has definitely now come to a close, I've stopped getting books into the stock. I'm just working my way through the quite large amount of stock. I got into a bit of a frenzy when I gave myself sort of permission to spend any money that I'd saved on this bookshop idea. Searching around online, to be honest, is the short answer, but with very specific books in mind and sort of finding ways to try and look for deals and things. And I made a few relationships with particular sellers who had collections that they were working through. And the thing with occult books especially, and I think with book collections in general, is that lots of times when they come onto market suddenly all at once, it's people that have inherited someone's very niche book collection and they just have no idea what to do with it, and they have no idea what's like going on with it, and they really, they appreciate that people might want to buy it. And especially with occult books, some people's religious beliefs or just sort of superstitious beliefs or just the sort of vibe of some of the books doesn't match up with what they want on their shelves and in their house or anywhere near them, so they just want to get rid of them. So anyway, I found a couple of people like that, and also looked in bookshops around in cities in Scotland. Some of my more valuable books that I have in the bookshop, actually some that aren't even listed in the bookshop yet, are from actual bookshops. I guess a sub question within this is like, how do you know which ones to get? And that is just from being a sort of obsessive nerd and knowing what makes a good grimoire. It's a book that I would be excited to have got as a 15-year-old occult weirdo sort of fanatic. Something that would fit well into that scene in a horror film where the main character finds the old tome that has the secrets to what's been going on and the witch's coven that's been hunting them for most of the film. Anything that fits that would fit well in the bookshop, to be honest. But also, just like my own interest and my own sort of knowledge of the writers and movements and different sort of subcategories within it. What was number 2? Why are you into this? Right, yes. I think the usual sort of, some people don't ever get that sort of magical thinking phase when they're a child. They just come into the world a materialist and they stay that way. But lots of people, they go through that phase and then they sort of grow out of it, and other people just never lose the sort of romance and love of that sort of thing. I'm definitely one of the latter. I remember on my road there was a group of us that used to play out in the street, and one of them decided that she, probably about the age of like 8 or 9, that she was a witch, and she did a sort of witch initiation ritual, and she cursed a broomstick and put it over her gate, and none of us could pass it while someone was being initiated. So there was some witchy stuff going on the street, I was sort of raised on the BBC Two, Blue Peter to Buffy occultist pipeline, and got really into Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I had a book on the sort of lore of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that sort of presented itself as a kind of demonological grimoire. And And yeah, I think I can probably source a lot of my love of this kind of stuff back to that. Blame Matt Baker and Connie Huck, I would say, and Newsround. Blame Newsround. How long am I going to give it until I give up? Well, I mean, it's been going well. My response to my dad when he asked me that was that I think it's sort of have been accumulating subscribers on YouTube, and I think that's going really positively. I think to have like a tiny like baby viral hit this early on is a nice thing and very encouraging. So I'm just going to stick to it. I don't really know. I mean, I think I'll know. There'll be a moment where I know that it's just sort of falling on deaf ears and not really happening. But I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking like a good manifester. I'm thinking as if it's already been a wild success, and I'm buying my second book room site and have a staff of 10 initiates to my new cult. Yes, where am I going next? So this is just basically my to-do list. I mean, I don't know how interesting this is to anyone, but things that I've been meaning to do but haven't had the time are set up a newsletter, set up a sort of Substack style mailing list newsletter thing, where even if it's just a slight expansion on the videos that I'm putting out, that would be something that people might enjoy to receive. And some people prefer to read things as opposed to watch things. Some people aren't as plugged into the various algorithmic feeds as the rest of us. I want to start looking into doing physical book fairs and carting my books around, mostly in Scotland. I need to get onto TikTok. Now, luckily, I have a big trove of short videos at this point, so I can do a sort of probably a good couple of months of posting on TikTok without having to create anything new. But I mean, I'm an early 90s near geriatric millennial. I am not a TikTok user, and the whole thing's sort of is frankly terrifying. But I'll give it a go, and I need to get on TikTok. And so when I first had the idea for Fool's Journey Books, I spent ages considering the sort of unboxing experience of people who buy the books, and I wanted it to be like extraordinary and have all of these different sort of origami like envelope things and wax seals and just the most perfect experience so that people would share it and enjoy it, and it would just be like magical to receive a book, let alone the contents of the book. Unfortunately, I've not been able to do that. I mean, I do try and send them out they're always safely sent and secure and nicely presented, I hope, but it's definitely not what I envisioned. So I want to sort of improve that. I just wanted to get going. I didn't want to give myself too many excuses not to start. And also I had this like literally looming shelf of books over me that just wanted to be sold. So I thought I'd just get started, especially when I was coming new to creating video content. I didn't want to like linger on it too long and become too sort of embarrassed and worried about it and then not ever do it. In a similar vein, I also envisioned Fool's Journey Books as a publisher of sorts, like a very, very, very small scale sort of handmade publisher, and a sort of celebration of books and bookbinding and bookmaking and paper making and printing and all this kind of stuff. So there's lots of ideas there that I need to get to. At the very least, I want to do some hand printed bookmarks and things. Say less often. That would be one of my main things I want to do in the future. Another thing was one thing I need to do is just finish listing all the books. That would be good. Turns out listing books takes absolutely ages, at least if you're me. And it's in too many parts. I think whatever attention issues I have, having to like photograph and then catalog and then upload and then publish and all this stuff, it's just it takes me forever. Anyway, I've still got some books that I need to upload onto the website, list on the website. For long-term success, I need to monetize my YouTube channel as well. And let me just quickly look. So on YouTube, it lets you see which boxes you've ticked to become an earning YouTuber. And I have 566 subscribers out of 1,000 needed to become a earning YouTube channel. And I need one of the following. I need either 10 million shorts views. I have 9.9k, so I'm pretty far off that. I think much more likely, but still quite an uphill battle. Within 365 days, I need 4,000 watch hours on YouTube. And I currently have 437. And I don't think that's too bad, because I've mostly been posting very small shorts and not too many long form videos. And I'm planning on doing lots more long form videos anyway, including this one. So that should help. But that would be amazing. If I could just tick those two boxes, that would be a huge win for the business and for the channel and everything. But yeah, it's been interesting. I found that I have really enjoyed putting out stuff. I didn't even have an Instagram account when I opened the bookshop. I mean, I had one years ago. I think it was like the few months into lockdown that I got rid of my Instagram account for purely self-preservational reasons. But yeah, I would say if anyone's thinking about getting into putting out stuff, just do it, because like you only get better at it by doing it. So you're going to make rubbish stuff for a while. And I still am probably in that process, but you know, there we are. But yeah, I've got lots of ideas for videos coming forwards. I want to do a sort of pick a random book off of the shelf and make a video out of that book thing. So I just sort of work my way through the entire stock, of which there is plenty. And I want to do some deep dives into some of the books. Obviously, I want to do more history of the iconography behind the major arcana of the tarot deck. I've only done card 0, fittingly the Fool, so far, but I want to do all 21 of them. I want to continue my occult tools video. I've done Calm Mind so far, and next up will be imagination or visualization, and I think probably after that it will be manifestation, and we'll see how we get on. Of course, I need to finish the Silmarillion. I have my first ever video essay that I'm writing a sort of loose script for at the moment, to do with Tolkien, and it's cheating because I said I would read the Silmarillion before I started any Tolkien content proper, but this idea is sort of tapping away at me, so I need to get it out. But yeah, all sorts of ideas coming up. But anyway, thank you for coming along for the ride so far. I hope you've enjoyed this video and the ones I put out so far, and the ones to come. And please do check out the bookshop at foolsjourneybooks.com. Fool's Journey Weird Books on Instagram. Fool's Journey Books was taken. And Fool's Journey Books on YouTube. And soon to come to TikTok. I do have the handle Fool's Journey Books. So feel free to go over there and do whatever you do on TikTok. Subscribe or follow or whatever. Because I'm going to be uploading some videos there too. And keep your eyes peeled for a Substack or mail out subscriber MailChimp, whatever you call it, which will be coming soon as well. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello, welcome to Fool's Journey Books. This video is a bit different. I'm not really expecting hundreds and thousands of people to view it, unlike the other videos, which are of course doing those kind of numbers. It's more just a sort of milestone, this is the start kind of video. It's funny doing this in the time where everything is so algorithm focused, and everything that I'm thinking about is in terms of like, will this help me be placed in front of the kind of people that I want to see this content? It all feels very abstract and strange, hoping that the algorithm overlord will bless me with attention, basically, and hoping that I sort of like use the correct hashtags or use the correct sort of format at the beginning of a video. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. One of the reasons I had the idea to make this video, for example, is because I heard that business building sort of videos do quite well. So hopefully this brings in a few viewers. Hello. This is a bookshop, effectively, but it's also a place for me to put content about the books and about the occult and the esoteric, which is something that I found interesting for many years. My name's Alfie. I live in Scotland, from London. I have the cheapest microphone that I could find, the cheapest tripod that I could find. I'm just learning to edit videos and use all of that kind of software. I find it interesting. I put some effort into these like slightly longer videos, and then I pressed like the create shorts button on CapCut, and it sort of chunked it into like all these automated AI made little short videos that I put on YouTube Shorts, and they have done like over 10,000 views or something. I've got like hours and hours of views on those, and then the actual longer videos that they're from, where everything makes perfect contextual sense and isn't affected by the AI sort of, clumsily plucking this bit out. Those have done like 10 views. So it's quite odd to have this like thousands on one hand and tens on the other. But I guess that's the nature of YouTube and everything, TikTok and all that. But that's led me to believe, anyway, that I think I should be focusing more on the short form content itself and making that like a higher quality, and the context of that being like itself, rather than taking it from the context of the longer videos and producing the short videos from that. So I'll be doing that more from now on. In the first month, I've had one sale, which I'm very, very grateful for. Yeah, within the first week, I think, of the shop opening. So I was someone who just saw the account and thought that looks interesting, and saw the book and thought that looks interesting. It was a Dion Fortune paperback, Applied Magic, I believe. I was very encouraged by that. I have not had a sale since then, but I'm still in the process of getting the account and getting the content in front of people. It's very tricky. I look after two young children, only one of which is in nursery, so I have to find time whilst I can to like make the content and then edit it and put it up, which I do think is really important to the success of the shop. Like, my child is napping right now, and I'm just trying to like quickly put out this video. I've realized I say a lot. I try and edit some of them out, which makes the edits look a bit clumsy, I think, but so yeah, the first month of this business has been interesting and fun. I've really enjoyed putting out the videos and seeing, I've had a comment even, which is mind blowing. It'll be interesting to see where it's at in another month and 6 months and a year. Hopefully it's grown. We'll see. One of the biggest challenges at the moment in terms of the bookshop is finding time to list all of the stock that I've got, which is like all of these shelves back here. I think you can see that in shot, and then some behind the sofa here, and then these up here, and then others sort of boxed away elsewhere. At the moment, it's just me trying desperately to find the time to properly list them in a way that's like accurate and doesn't feel like I could catch anyone out with the condition of the book or anything. But yeah, slow and steady. It's going fine. Some of my most valuable books that I have are behind me here. This is my complete sort of third edition set of the Golden Bough books, beautifully bound by Baton Binding in Bath, and they made that I think it's in 1914. I think the set goes to. I've already filmed a video about the Dying God for Easter weekend, which hopefully you will be seeing before this video. Yeah, I've got some other really beautiful things to show off. I've got lots of miniature books. I did a little video about those. Loads of tarot decks and books about tarot. I've got multiple shelves of Tolkien stuff. Oh, I've got like a whole thing of William Blake that is just incredible, that I need to show off and sort of make videos about. Yeah, but I mean, it's lucky. This is my interest. I love talking about it. So hopefully I can sort of show you that and people will appreciate it. Anyway, I probably should go and wake up my child. Hope you've enjoyed this little video. I probably won't do these too often. I'll just do little updates every now and then. Yeah, have a good day. Fool's Journey Weird Books on Instagram is where I'm doing most of my sort of listing posts. Fool's Journey Books here on YouTube. I do have Fool's Journey Books on TikTok, but I still haven't waded into TikTok. I think what I'm going to do is sort of amass a load of stuff on YouTube Shorts and then transfer and just sort of do like daily posts on TikTok of the better videos. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, foolsjourneybooks.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.